problem I was experiencing was just being in Teams calls, Zoom calls, and my internet constantly dropping out. I wasn't able to do my job. Obviously I'm down here in the man cave, or the office as it's more professionally known, and I just needed a stable internet connection to access my Teams meetings for work. So no companies had been out, but my internet provider had essentially reached out and offered me a package that I could pay for monthly to use some equipment to extend my connection. Now, I don't want to pay that additional premium. I wasn't overly confident in the solution either. Like, they were wanting to install kind of more routers around the house. So instead of paying that monthly fee, I wanted to go to a company directly and get something installed. I found Necessity Services. It was recommended to me for a friend. I also checked them out online as well and saw they had plenty of 5-star reviews actually, and they were listed as a trusted advisor, or a trusted trader, sorry. So for me it was kind of a no-brainer to kind of go with Necessity Services. Since asking Mark kind of to come along and take a look at the property and what options we've got available to us to get kind of the man cave up and running again with internet connection, the process was smooth. There was personality, friendliness all the way through it. Ever since he kind of came around to do an initial survey, I kind of felt like I entrusted the services of Mark and essentially was going to get a good quality result at the back of it as well. So Mark came a couple of times to the house. First time was purely just to have a look, see what was involved with the work, to install kind of this internet connection down to the bottom of the garden. From the first time he visited to the time he left, on the second time he was professional throughout. He even took extra steps to ensure that the place was left tidy, almost as if he wasn't even here, to be honest with you. From the point he walked through the door, he put on overshoes, asked questions about whether it was okay to take his shoes off or not. And on the whole, I felt kind of confident in the services that Mark was providing. I think potentially the problem was probably a lot more complicated than we initially thought. Mark was communicating all the way through it, throughout the process, explaining kind of what had to be done at different stages. This was shared with me in the first kind of survey, and then throughout during the installation as well. So Necessity Services actually installed a cable from the front of the house all the way up into the loft, across the loft, through the second loft, down the back of the house, and through this process as well, Mark, before he kind of conducted the work, actually explained what he was going to be doing, so taking extra precautions to ensure everything was sealed off, where he had drilled through the walls into the loft, and also took extra steps to hide the cabling behind the existing piping that was there as well. We then encountered the next problem, was actually running the cable all the way up the garden, so I've kind of got maybe, I don't know, a 35, 40 foot garden, with some patio and decking just to get in the way as well. So Mark was actually able to run the cabling underneath the decking, and then using around kind of 15, 20, maybe 25 meters of conduit just to prevent any issues in future where the cable may be kind of severed or cut by any gardeners, or we recently had a fence installed next door as well. So by having that metal conduit there just meant that kind of the whole installation was future-proofed as well. We then ran the cable all the way down to the bottom of the man cave, where it was drilled through and again all sealed off, providing a nice clean entry point for me to plug in my router and also get connected again. The job was completed on budget. So from the first point that Mark came over and gave an initial costing, I was very happy with the price. To be honest with you, I couldn't really put a price on having good connectivity in the house. As I said, I work from my home or from the man cave every single day. So for me, not having an ongoing subscription through another provider where I had to pay for their equipment, and also kind of the small cost that was, well, to me was the small cost associated with getting it all installed was, that was absolutely fine. And at the end of it, that was the same price as well, despite the additional work. So I was really appreciative of Mark not kind of adding on additional costs there at the end for me as well, which I was a little bit nervous about, but it was service with a smile, and at the end of the day, I was really happy with what I got. So once everything was installed, we kind of had a little bit of a debrief at the end. Mark went through kind of different tiering and support packages and services they had available as well, should anything go wrong with it. I was also explained to me how to get everything installed, what had been installed, and how to get connected as well. So overall, I was really pleased with what I received. Yeah, so when it was all completed, Mark outlined kind of the 3-tier support plan that they had available to us, just to give us a bit of peace of mind should anything go wrong in future, and this was all clearly explained to me as well. I would definitely recommend necessity services to other people. As I said, it's absolutely paramount that I have good connectivity in the house. As I said before, like a 2,276% increase of my broadband speeds is, you can't really put a price on that, particularly when my whole role at my job relies on good internet connection.